Oh, good evening. Welcome to the DBS Sports with me, Kenson Casimir. We begin tonight with some sad news from the sports fraternity. As you heard during our newscast, national cricketer Nick Eli-Box passed away in a tragic car accident on the weekend. The news has stunned the sports fraternity, who only last week said goodbye to another young star. Now, in terms of cricket, St. Lucia is said to be into their golden age of cricketers in the region. For the last 5 years, St. Lucia has dominated youth cricket in the Windward Islands with both bat and ball. One of the cricketers who was part of this golden era was talented batsman Nick Eli-Box. Eli-Box was part of the national under-15 team that dominated proceedings in the sub-region and was named in the Windward Islands youth squad. Eli-Box also played the national under-19 cricket for St. Lucia and was among the Windward's team in 2015 that included the likes of Emmanuel Stewart, Kimani Melius and Jonah Eugene. That team went on to win the West Indies under-17 cricket tournament. The young cricket fraternity is indeed saddened by this occurrence. West Indies under-19 cricketer and teammate Kimani Melius said that he remembers being on tour with the Bexo native and enjoyed their time together on regional fields. Well, for many, the sky was the limit for the young lad, who was said to have impressed a number of even British cricket lovers. Eli-Box played in the first edition of the St. Lucia Premier League for the Soufre Peters. Well, we here at DBS Sports and St. Lucia Sports Online send our deepest condolences to the family of Nick Eli-Box. Meanwhile, a statement coming from the St. Lucia Cricket Association reads, "It is with a feeling of shock and disbelief that we woke to the news of the passing of young Nick Eli-Box this weekend. This young outstanding cricketer played for Central Castries and before that Castries Comprehensive. In his last year, he served as captain of the under-19 Central Castries team, which went on to share the under-19 championship with Schuzel in 2017. Nick also represented St. Lucia at the under-15 and under-19 level. He was also selected to represent Windwards at the under-15 and under-17 ranks. Nick was a hard-hitting, fearless and confident batsman, and he brought this same attitude to his life. This is what makes the loss more profound. On behalf of the executive and board of management of the St. Lucia National Cricket Association, we'd like to extend our sincere condolences to his family and friends in Mark, the members of the St. Lucia under-19 team, Central Castries Cricket Association, and all cricketers who knew or played with Nick. We hope that your fond memories of Nick will carry you through this especially sad period and that we all can find the strength to carry on. Rest in peace, Nick." Now, word of another accident involving a member of the sports fraternity spread like wildfire on the weekend. But this time, the fraternity can breathe a sigh of relief. Host of popular sports show Michael Pierre is in good spirits and recovering at the Victoria Hospital. The former long-serving sports official at the Ministry of Sport took to social media to thank St. Lucians for their outpouring of support during his time of physical pain. The host of the banter on Vibe Radio was in an accident last weekend along the Castries Grosvenor Highway near Marishill. His mishap came on the heels of two young sports personalities losing their lives to vehicular accidents in the space of 2 weeks. The avid sports lover stated, "Guys, thanks for the well wishes. May be doing surgery on my hip earlier today." St. Lucia Sports Online spoke to the lover of the sports development mere minutes ago, and of course DBS Sports spoke to him also. According to Mr. Pierre, "I sustained some lacerations to the head, but I mainly suffered from the injury to my hip and right shoulder." Fact is, if anyone knows Mr. Pierre, they will know that this will not prevent him from winding down at events by this carnival season. Well, though his hip may need some attention, we all expect it to be fully functional by the time our local artists release their Denry segment tunes this time around. Well, we wait in earnest for him to be back on radio talking about sports development in St. Lucia and the world. Well, now in football, it was a night of great fun and excitement as the third place and final of the Veterans Play Championship was held at the Philip Master Grounds in Vieux-Fort. Newly formed team Labowie Connections edged their names into the Veterans record books as they defeated Flow Lancers on Saturday night. The two teams were playing in the third place of the championship. Now, after holding more than 65% of the possession in that game, Lancers failed to capitalize on a number of clear-cut opportunities presented to them in this encounter. As a result, at the end of regulation and extra time, the teams were deadlocked at 1-1. In the ensuing shootout, goalkeeper Alvin Etienne had a brilliant save as Connections went on to win on penalties. As a result, Labowie Connections went on to become the first team in the history of the tournament to go through the qualifiers and by the end of the season lift the Flow Play Championship trophy. Well, Now, the final of the Flow Play Championship pegged two of the biggest teams in Castries in the tournament decider, and as was expected, the two teams did not disappoint. With a number of VSADC fans making the trek to Vieux-Fort, it was CARICOM Masters who took the initiative in this matchup as they forged ahead with a goal from tournament's co-leading striker, Alvin Malakan. Malakan was of course doubtful for this encounter as he suffered an injury in the semi-final. In this encounter, the former three-time champions VSADC, they fought back. Once again, it was no surprise that the coach of their main team, Sean Curtin, found the back of the net. As a result, the game was thrown into the dreaded penalty kicks. VSADC, who may have felt that they were undone by the referees, went on to lift the Flow Play trophy, winning on penalties. We spoke to Alvin Malakan, who is the CEO of Veterans in Sports Inc.
Climax of the Flow Play Championship. We had the third place playoff with Flow Lancers FC coming up against Laboy Connections, a newcomer to the tournament. And Laboy played excellent football throughout, and they are deserving of the third place. And then we had the much anticipated final with the undefeated CARICOM Masters coming up against, three-time champions VSADC, and they were a well-fought battle. Went into penalties, and VSADC getting the better of CARICOM Masters. I must say hats off to VSADC. They came back really hard in this tournament, and they deserve the Flow Play Championship.
Well, we'll have the pictures and more for you during our Sports Night program. Still in football, the 2018 Division 1 football tournament gets underway this weekend at venues around the island. Now, the local football transfer window will be closed by February 28, 2018. However, there's one team that has sprung up in the south of the island that has not waited until the deadline date to make moves that have shocked the national club football landscape in St. Lucia. Newly promoted Uptown Rebels have signed some of the biggest names in local football to add to a roster that was already turning heads at local sports fraternities. The team added one of St. Lucia's deadliest defenders, as Bradley Tiso. Well, St. Lucia Sports Online and DBS has spoken ad nauseum about the fierceness of this Canaries native. To add anything more would only add to the fear that other teams should feel when playing this upgraded Uptown team. Now, behind Tiso, the Rebels have added one of St. Lucia's most talented goalkeepers, Doa Didier. The Mico native and former national youth goalkeeper was a huge part of his community's historic treble run many years ago. Furthermore, the club, which has as part of the executive persons like Mervyn Cucubelas, has added Jovic McFarlane to the mix. If you are somehow not familiar with this name, you may not have been following local football for the last couple of years. McFarlane is certainly one of the deadliest wingers walking the streets of St. Lucia. Now, in attack, Antonio Joseph may be the most skillful and creative individual gracing local football turfs. As the SLFA got works started on the Gold Project, one would think that this individual would be expected to provide lessons to young St. Lucians desirous of understanding what a total attacking footballer really is. Pace, skill, and vision are all superlatives used to describe this young talent. The other names signed by the Rebels include Shavi King, Karen Marsley, Adrian Henry, Shadel Harrow, and Clayson Charles. At the official introduction of these individuals in Vieux-Fort on the weekend, well, DBS Sports spoke with executive member Jeff Bosco Emmanuel. Emmanuel, in a very calm manner, stated, "It has only just begun." Well, the question is, does this high-powered team have what it takes to rise to the top of club football this year? I guess we'll find out soon. Well, we take a break, but when we get back, Jaco House wins Inter-House at Vite-Bouteille. Welcome back. Vite-Bouteille Secondary School hosted their annual Inter-House Track and Field Championships last weekend. We spoke to Kim Felix, who is the physical education teacher at the school.
Today we just have our track meet. Initially we had our track meet scheduled for January 24th. Because of the weather and me feeling back, it's such a mess that we could not have our track meet. So, and the students are so enthusiastic, so we want to use that enthusiasm, and we use a contingency plan. We feel that we have organized something nicely for them today, so that's why we have our track meet today. So far it's a good success. It's going on well, very well. The students are using that enthusiasm in the races, and I can say it's been going well.
Mr. Felix spoke to the lengths the school went through to have the event this year.
Of course, with the weather and the way it's been happening as of late, it's so unpredictable. we'll have sun now and then rain. So we spoke to Covered Modest. He came in yesterday. We were here trying to cut the grass, trying to organize the field, and up to last night we left there about minutes to 5, trying to put stuff in place. It was very tedious, but with the sports committee at the school, everyone hands on deck, and we got it running today.
Well, in the end, Peterhouse finished 4th with 257 points. Carinash House finished 3rd with 288 points. Diamond House finished 2nd with a total of 324 points, while Jaco finished 1st with a total of 340 points. Wow, Jaco flying high. Well, still in school sports, the results are in from the 2018 Inter-Schools Table Tennis Tournament. The event, which was held at the Beausejour Indoor Facility, saw a number of young talented individuals participating in both singles and doubles events. In the end, Mayor George from the St. Joseph's Convent and Jelani Duzoze from St. Mary's College were the mixed doubles runners-up, as well as the singles event. Sharish Dashville of Sir Arthur Lewis Community College and DeAndre Colton of Castries Comprehensive Secondary School won the event. Wow. Well, the Q Sports St. Lucia Inc.'s second Independence 8-ball championship continued this past weekend with the 3rd and the 4th qualifying rounds of the tournament. The 3rd qualifier was held at the Bish Restaurant and Bar in Cabbage, Babonneau on Friday, 2nd February, where Vershal Sadhu of Tiroche Migo secured 1st place in the final match with a 2-1 victory over Curtis Epiphan of Cabbage, Babonneau. Epiphan also qualifies in 2nd place. The 4th qualifier was held at the People's Pub in Vieux Fort on Saturday, 3rd February, and it was Gibson Felix of Vieux Fort who claimed the 1st place with a 2-0 victory over Dwight Calix of Vieux Fort in the final match of the evening. Calix also qualifies in 2nd place. Well, the tournament continues this coming weekend with matches on Friday, 9th February at the BH Bar in Dennery and Skip's Pub in Castries on Saturday, 10th. Matches start at 7 p.m. Well, a 5-4 from pace bowler Kimo Paula led Guyana Jaguars to a narrow 19-run victory over the Leeward Island Hurricanes in the CWI Super 50 matchup at College Cricket Grounds on Sunday. His efforts were, however, just about enough to stave off the efforts of big-hitting man Mountain as Joachim Cornwall, who blasted 119 from 94 balls in a losing effort. Amazingly, Cornwall's display of power hitting saw him clear the boundary on 10 occasions, adding to 4 fours. After winning the toss and electing to bat, the Jaguars, led by 99 from Leon Johnson, put up a sizable 298 for 8 in their 50 overs. Veteran opener Shivnarayan Chanapal quickly departed the crease after being dismissed by Justin Athenas in the 4th over. His opening partner Chanapal Hemraj was, however, joined at the crease by Shimran Hetmeyer, and the two put together a solid 50-ball partnership to repair the damage. The partnership ended after Hemraj 20 was run out by Jeremiah Lewis and Hetmeyer 47 caught by Lewis off the bowling of Akil Hussein. The Jaguars had plenty more to come, however, as Johnson's enterprising 99 from 94, which included 10 fours and a powerful middle order hitting from Raymond Reefer 46 and Anthony Bramble 40, pushed the score along for the 4D champions. Well, in response to that total, the Leewards lost opener Kieran Powell early, and after he was dislodged by Paul after putting just 12 runs on the board. The young pace bowler continued to rip through the top order, removing Devon Thomas for 10 and Marcin Hodge, who blasted an enterprising 48 from 50. As the Leewards fell short, they scored 282 all out. Well, finally, the Philadelphia Eagles have won their first Super Bowl title after beating the New England Patriots in an enthralling game. One of the most unforgettable Super Bowls in history saw a Patriots 4th quarter comeback, but it was the Eagles who scored a decisive touchdown, tacking on a field goal, and they came up with a huge strip sack of Tom Brady to put the game out of reach. A late Hail Mary attempt by Brady came up just short, and the Eagles and their fans started celebrating the team's 41-33 win behind a masterful performance by Nick Foles on a huge 4th quarter by the Philadelphia defense. Wow. Well, that's sports. Join me for Sports Night. A lot to speak about, and my guest for the night, West Indies under-19 batsman Kimani Melius. Wow. DBS News continues after the break.